Hello, this is my virtual tour of the Media Center facility that I created in The Sims. I decided to go a little different than normal and create a virtual world with my Media Center. It's a little dramatic because of the choices I was limited to, but I hope you still understand the gist of it. In my mind, I decided to create this for a small middle school or maybe even an elementary and middle school combined. And at the start of the doors of the school, if we're pretending this is the school, you walk in and this is kind of like the office area. And I wanted to be very deliberate in the fact that the media center is one of the first things that you see when you walk in the door. So on either sides you can see that we have a hallway into the actual classroom areas, but straight dead ahead we have the media center itself. If I press play here, I'll just hide. Oops, I guess I can't hide that. Anywho, this is the start of the media center, and I will do it like that. So when you walk right in the doors, where the policeman is sitting right now, that would actually be the circulation desk. Behind it, there's some reference computers or where they could access the OPAC. If you go towards the right, or if we go towards the left actually, this would be where I would have the fiction section, kind of my diagonal shelving units here. And all of this is kind of on a miniature scale just because of how I did it. And this little corner over here I imagine for either professional sections for teachers or maybe more fiction if it was needed. On either sides of the media center I have kind of two wings. This one wing over here, this is kind of the processing section or some kind of storage facility if we needed it. Then going over and there's a door. I will put the walls back up. There's a door going straight towards into that planning section, and I kind of hid it by shelving on purpose just because students would never need to use it. Then over here in the next little wing or the next little room is a computer lab, and for all my computer labs I made sure that there's a flat screen or some sort of um, display here, projector too. And then we have our computers, and it's kind of basic there. There's another entrance to this little nook, kind of reading nook. I designed it to be more multi-purpose. There's couches here for students to lounge on. There's a giant display with a teacher computer, and there's even some stadium seating here. If this could work for a storytelling section or some sort of time where students can come and just read or even show a little movie. I made it so that it's still part of the media center, not closed off by walls, but the books kind of add a natural barrier, or the shelving units, excuse me, add a natural barrier. Alright, and it's nighttime now, I guess. These curtains are pretty dramatic, but I just wanted to make a point that I wanted to stress natural light as much as possible. So I basically, if I zoom out here, I have a whole wall of windows leading out to the garden or whatever it would be. But I also wanted the media specialists to have the ability to close them off if they needed. I would rather have blinds, but I didn't have any blinds that fit these giant windows, so I did giant curtains instead. So again, that's the fiction section. These are the OPAC computers. And then I wanted some space where students could just sit and maybe work on things or just talk quietly. So I made quite a few chairs and tables here. And I was deliberate in the fact that if the media specialist or the clerk or the assistant had to stay at the circulation desk, they could still keep an eye on what the students are doing here. Okay, on the other side of the media center, I have kind of the nonfiction section. Let me slow down here. So we have our shelving units here. I kind of did some interesting choices for the um, where to put it. I don't really like straight lines, so I try to make it as interesting as possible. And you might notice I also have quite a bit of art on the walls, and that's deliberate because I wanted to make sure that there's a lot of color even if the bookshelves are pretty basic. Okay, so nonfiction here. Again, this is kind of a miniature version in a real media center. There might need to be more shelves for nonfiction. There is a door here, right here, and I made it on both sides here to make sure that there's enough traffic, well, not enough traffic, but enough space for traffic to go through, in and out. So on my right side of the media center over here, let me put the walls down again, I have a computer lab, but it's a little different because I wanted to have it be a lot of choices. So we have laptops right now, and if it's a school where you bring your own device, maybe we would just put the laptops away in a cabinet really easy, and they could have their own devices here at the tables. Or you could quickly reconfigure it to just be kind of a conference room or something that's multi-purpose. And there's a fish tank. Last room over here is the media specialist office, or just another workroom. Have some extra shelving here, nice long desk, so pretty basic. And the things you might not have realized from the start, let me put the walls back up. The doors are very large, yes, on purpose to make a kind of a dramatic entrance, but also there's a lot of overhead lighting, and I would probably even put more in if this was a real media center. I wanted to make sure that there's plenty of lighting all the way around, and I also tried with the windows, like I said before, to make as much natural lighting as possible. I can't really show you, but I have this as a well, vaulted ceilings most um, is the best way to explain it. There's nothing on top here to make a second floor. Having middle school and maybe elementary students, I did not want them running up and down stairs. So instead, there's a lot of vaulted ceiling space, and I would like to have skylights at the top here to add even more natural lighting. And I realized when I was building this that it's very difficult to have enough windows, or the right ratio actually, especially when you have um, the little rooms off of it, like the computer lab and the offices. It really takes up a lot of space that I didn't realize before this. The carpeting is pretty basic. I wanted the books to be on display in the computers and multimedia to be the actual thing. I did choose carpet on purpose instead of hardwood floors, just again for safety and because they're all students. And throughout all my shelving areas, I wanted to make sure that there's enough area for traffic to flow. I think that's about all I had to say here. So in the actual reflective paper, I will explain more about my inspiration and everything else that is in the requirements. Thank you.